Well, all right, folks, we're playing some more on this thing. So, on a good note, last time I got it running really good. Well, good. Turns out it was just like all this over-the-top vacuum stuff. I just started ripping things off and just dumbing the vacuum system down to the bare bones. And even then, I still got to replace a lot of stuff, but everything that was going on was just a whole lot of vacuum leaks. So this thing's just a little trooper right now. Hey? Look at that. Pretty good. I mean, it still needs a tune-up and whatnot, but I got some exhaust leaks, but it turns out it's all the smoggy line, like the stupid, I don't know what it is, the smog stuff. When I kind of rev it, you can actually see right there. You can hear the leaks. You can see it arcing in there and stuff. So that'll be easy. When the body's off, we'll be able to just plug those up. We'll kind of shoot for that. Anyways, toying around, gauges. I know the temp gauge works, but the oil doesn't. And upon inspection, I can see why it doesn't work. It's because the wire is broken, but I can't figure out where it actually goes. Looks like it's been broken for a while. So I'm trying to hunt around, find that. That's kind of the plan. And the volt gauge doesn't work. I had taken the ground off because somebody said it might be the ground, but it seems okay. I just grounded it straight to the battery just to see. So I'm a little mixed on the gauges. I might just say hooey and just get new gauges. And the only thing I want to keep is the speedometer because, well, you can see I took this all apart trying to figure out what's going on. And I guess they're just notorious for when you bolt them in, it's supposed to just press up against the plug in there. And it's kind of hit and miss. But anyways, the speedometer for sure I do want to get working because I am positive, unless somebody can tell me different, is the cruise control kind of uses the back here. There's a plug that goes in there, and I think it has an optical thing to check the speed so that part works. So this will be something I'm somehow going to have to retro into there. Maybe these work, I don't know. If I could find a darn wire for this thing, it'd be nice. The volt, well, whatever. It is what it is, but either it works or it doesn't. But if I was to reuse this, I'd probably try to get, if you found a truck with a tack in it, I think this becomes the fuel gauge. But I don't know how that gets wired, if you know what I mean. Right now, this is all like kind of just ribbony and does its own thing, but a fella could chop this down. Could. Because you know these are the fuel gaugey parts. Or we just wire to it. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing yet. I just know this is the only thing I need to kind of keep. And everything else we can kind of do our own thing. This thing, just because I really would like to have the cruise control and make it pretty awesome. The center part of it, you can just see it just had stuff. It's not too important. I mean, signal, high beam, that stuff's nice. But the other things aren't that big of a deal in my eyes. That if that part went away, because if we can shrink this down into speedo and 4 clusters, similar to the way the International is, that'd be a pretty cool combo in my eyes. But I don't know if we'd have to make a custom board, and then by the time we're doing that, do we just spend the $50 or something and just get some gauges? Okay. Anyways, we know that runs. I'm just gonna start with the first thing here. And I'm just going to strip the box off. I'll strip the box, the rear bumper, but I don't want to hack up. Well, we can actually unplug it nicely down there. I don't want to hack any wiring because I want to reuse the wiring harness and stuff out of here. So, first step is that. My goal for the end of the video here is to get the cab box stripped off. I don't know that I'll get the cab stripped out or anything like that, but get everything off, get that thing just like loosey-goosey just sitting on there would be really nice. But well, we'll take it one step at a time. So Anyways, first things first, we're gonna lift this thing back up on the hoist again and just attack all the bolts for the box. While we're under there, we'll try to get the cab ones too. They should be pretty straightforward. And whatever's in the way, we'll just cut it off because I'm not using any of that stuff from that truck. I mean, the hood maybe is good, and maybe the tailgate, I didn't look, but it doesn't have a lot of, that's pretty rotten around there too, everywhere. So this sucker's just, doesn't have a lot going for it body-wise. Well, that was kind of surprising. I didn't think half those bolts would come off. We had one stuck one in the front, and then the typical with the front body mounts, you have to go dig into here with a wrench. So I had to torch the one anyway, so I torched those. I started cutting the front mounts, or the front frame rails, just to spit the bumper out of the way so it's easier to lift out. In the back, I mean, everything looks good. Time will tell if everything's good in its place, like usable. I wonder if it's just a bad ground. Oh, no. Just wondering why my fuel gauge doesn't work, but there's a lot of gauges that just decide they don't want to work, so we'll look into that later. And then these back ones, they just gave up the ghost. But the wiring, I did test it. The brake lights, all that jazz worked. There's a little bit of goofiness with the trailer plug and stuff here, so we'll have to revisit some of this, but for the most part, everything's good back there. We're going to ditch the back bumper because I don't know what I'm doing on there yet, but definitely not getting that thing. And then, well, I feel there's going to be a lot of, it always happens, is a lot of everything gets chopped off in the end, but I feel that'll be... I feel this chassis might be too long, but I don't know. It's kind of a shame. It's kind of the right chassis for, you know, like a 50 Chevy pickup kind of thing. But whatever. We'll keep plugging away. Because I do have a short bed one, but I feel that's going to be too small. I want to see how this layout works first before I do anything silly that I shouldn't do. All right. Next step is going to be, we want to get the wiring just out nicely from here, like the tail, like the marker lights. They just unplug, so they should be fine. I'm not too concerned about the wiring. Well, I shouldn't say that. The wiring I want to get disconnected from the motor. Basically, I want all the bits that stay with the motor to stay with the motor. We can lift off the body and then work our way through the cab to peel out everything that we want to keep. Steering column, brake pedal, wiring harness, stuff like that. For now, everything that's attached from the body to the motor, that's what we got to get off. So heater hose is, I think the rad I can actually just disconnect it and just kind of just push it aside and lift the body away from it. So I don't really have to do that. We have some wiring around here, but I'm kind of thinking if we disconnect, like take everything off, lay it on the motor, we should be fine. Like the brakes, for now anyways, I can just take the master cylinder off and shrink that down. The clutch, I probably actually have to unbolt and pull out. So I don't know, I might do the booster and that. I'll disconnect the steering. This is all the smog stuff, so we don't care about any of that. AC, or sorry, the cruise control. I think if I get this bulkhead fitting off, then I can kind of just sling it over and pick back. Like I have to go back and pick at all the stuff like the horn, the lights, all this stuff. We'll just nicely unplug it and get it to all follow everything back. And then we should be able to lift this sucker up. couple hours later, here's where we're at. You can see all the smoggy garbage we're going to take off of here, and then these, I don't know, it's like it's some emission stuff, which doesn't count anymore. I'm thinking I might actually just throw some valve cover gaskets on, because I think that's just what the problem is with the leakage. Other than that, we got everything off, it's together. We just unbolted it from the firewall. The only thing I did notice is, like, I have our speedometer and this cruise control stuff is like on a separate little line, so I'll have to come back and, but when we pull everything out of the truck, same thing. There's the heater control, like the heater stuff is over there, which I don't know if I'll use that at all, like, but that kind of farts off that way. I noticed one of the wires goes up to this high idle thing, so I don't know what that's about. So I'm not sure some of this stuff. I know this thing over here, whatever this little sensor is, kind of sizzled when we were having it run, but I think it has something to do with the choke maybe, because I noticed the choke light was always staying on the dash, but I could be wrong. It ran fine without it, so I don't know what it is really, but anyways, over on this front we got a little bit left to take out of here, because we'll have to do the steering column, pedals, clutch, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't know if I'll cut that out to reuse on that truck. I'm not sure yet. I'm a little mixed just because all the holes are in the right place, so that'd be kind of a nice little piece to reuse. And then in this front, we're basically going to just tear this inside out, and like I might go back, lift this on the hoist so I can just kind of plop it there and deal with it, and then we can just like bulldoze this thing out the shop after. But I think a little later tonight I'm going to come back and start pulling the rest of the stuff that I can out, and then we'll work, like say, try to get the dash out, see if I can repurpose that heater core, but I don't know. I don't think so. It's so much different than what I got going on. So anyways, I'm gonna go for supper, and we'll be back at it. Well, now we've kind of made quite the mess here. Anywho, there's this disaster, which is really not too bad. I just didn't disconnect anything from anything, so everything kind of should just go to place. Should. Fuse box, that's the clutch safety. Yeah, steering column, we got our brake and cruise stuff is right here. That wasn't actually plugged into anything. Maybe this is the safety, I don't really know. Anyways, this stuff's here, car ignition, buzzard, we can know all the stuff. Haven't messed with much of any of it. So that shouldn't be too hard to put back. All the motor wiring, like we said before, that's just hanging here, not a biggie. So that's just in limbo. Like I said, I'd like to wash all of that. Up here, we've pretty much stripped everything out. I did strip the heater core out, although I don't know. It was pretty mousy, so I don't know if I'll do anything with it or not, but I do have it because we can kind of adapt, maybe. Because I mean, the main heater core is just that, and then it goes into there, and I just care about floor and defrost. So we'll kind of see. I don't need the whole front vent section, which is this door right here. Who knows? Anyways, pretty much everything is like, well, I got everything out of there. The seat's no good, so I'm not even going to bother taking it out, just even to test fit. I have other trucks back there that might have a better seat. Probably the only last thing I'm going to do is I don't know if I'll use it, but it'll be a good template. We'll be cutting just this section of the stuff out, mostly because it's the perfect template of where everything goes: steering column, clutch, brake, fuse box. It's just nicely in one spot. So I don't know, maybe I'll wait till outside, because if stuff burns, I don't really care. We'll just do it on the tractor tomorrow or something. But you know, slice and dice everything out. That said, I think what I'm going to do is shuffle a few things and maybe try to just get this cab on the chassis, just to sit it down to see what it looks like. How far off we are would be pretty cool. Finish this thing up. This thing, I think yeah, well, maybe I can move that back a little more. Then I can just pick it up with the tractor tomorrow. Yes. I'm going to move this back, sit it on the bumper. Then I can bring this around, lift it with the hoist, bring the truck down, doop, and see what stuff looks like. There's a lot going on up here. Like I say, I want to power wash this, so I have to figure out how to fumble this stuff out of the way. I don't really want to disconnect everything if I don't have to, but like I say, I am going to go through this whole vacuum mess and get rid of anything that doesn't need to be on there and kind of just carry it down to the bare bones. All right. Ready, bud? No, we're not going in yet. We're not going in yet. Survey says I already know where this bar's got to go. Amongst some of the body bracing, but we will cut it on the way down. Conduit. Conduit. I feel this thing needs to be back here, but those body mounts are in the way, so all kinds of stuff in the way. doesn't fit very good. I know it'll fit better. Boy, that's a terrible mock-up. I don't know. I'm a little mixed, but I know it's gonna work. It's been done. But, well, we can't lower the cab right down because it's got all this bracing and these mounts have to all get chopped off. So there's that going for it. So you can see somebody's added a whole bunch of structure inside. I'd like to try to get it pretty low, but drivable. If I'm mounting the body, I may as well mount it lower. The wheelbase has got me a little mixed. It is a little on the long side, but I guess kind of want a little shorter truck. Now, we don't really know where this is, but this is definitely not going to go back like a foot or anything, so I'm a little mixed on it, but it just kind of is what it is, I guess. We'll have to see. The big thing, I guess, going forward would be you have to pull all this inner fender well out, just so we can get that in, tuck it in, move all this stuff, like either take it off or shuffle it. This rad will not be usable because, well, that grille's pretty narrow, so I'll have to find something smaller. You know, I can't really mount it sideways because it's kind of, everything's on the wrongs. It's kind of like a Ford or whatever it is. Ford Dodge. Everything's on the opposite sides. So I might have a rad. I don't know. But I mean, overall, it's kind of fun so far. Yeah, just a bummer. It's like I have a short wheelbase truck and I almost should have just used that one. An S10 that's a short wheelbase. Yeah. Well, I would never know, you know? The guy doesn't... I don't really know what the wheelbase of these are, and I'm just starting with a cab and a random box, so it's like, we'll give it a bit. Maybe it'll work, maybe not. I just feel that's a long way from the cab to that wheel. Is it windy out? Holy. Anyways, new day. Let's start around here. Let's see if we can make this thing fit better. I'm not too happy the way what we got going on here. So I think what I'm gonna do is we'll take the fender off. I'm gonna have to get the rad out at some point, but maybe I can shoehorn it sideways, and then we'll cut more of the front rail off because I'm thinking we're in the zone with the fenders and stuff here, but it totally needs to come into like this area. It's just hit and miss whether... It's like typical though, I always find when I do these is like the motor, you have to take it and bring it back. It's not sitting in the right place, so we'll see how this thing all sorts out here. Golly, listen to that wind, eh? Crazy. Alright, so anyways, on that note, we're gonna basically chop off that mount. We're going to chop off these back mounts. We're going to get rid of the bracing that is inside this cab because we'll just harshly set it down, probably way too low. But we can always block it up, shim it up, figure what we got to do when it comes time to actually make like cab mounts and stuff like that. Might you? I think we're in the zone. I don't know if those are usable. I'll chop the back half of this mount off where the box mount is. We'll just chop that off and let this cab channel down. Maybe we can repurpose. Chances are not. That's probably going to be way too low, but we'll try. See if we can get that to work. And then, well, I don't care about the front, so we'll just bob all that junk off. Get the rad out. And see if we can at least get this, the fenders, the clip, everything kind of sitting in place would be pretty cool. And then later today, when it warms up a bit, we'll see if we can maybe try to do the box. I don't know. where the fender goes, but the hood will tell us the truth. Well, I got a feeling this chassis is going to be way too big. Definitely feeling it. All right, well, let's trim that other fender so we can try to get the grill in there too. Maybe. Well, a lot of trimming, and we're nowhere near the zone here yet, but just trying to get a quick visual. We got a lot of trimming to do. Well, you can't really tell, but I'm really strongly feeling this truck is going to be too long. Because this cab's got to, from what I can tell, the front of the cab's got to go up a bit because the hood doesn't fit. I mean, a lot of things don't fit here, but this needs to come ahead a little bit, which then makes my wheelbase even longer. And it's just not a good look, I think. There's a lot of hooey going on because this needs to come down, so there's a combo of things, but definitely the thing's not going back. That's kind of what I'm saying. Either stay in there or it's going to go ahead. I'm still mixed, but you know what I mean? Like a normal, like a bubble fender like that, it's only going to be, maybe not. I don't know. I feel the shorter wheelbase of this is at about, I don't know, whatever, a bunch out, because a fender would be here, and I'm thinking if it was over there, it'd be nice. And I think that's the difference between a short wheelbase and a long one. I'll have to measure to make sure, because I think this was, what is that, the long bed, regular cab long bed? 115? Something like that. I don't know for sure. I can't remember. There's 115, one was like 112, or was it 107? I don't know. I'll look and find out. This side looks a little worse, actually a lot worse, but clearly nothing squared up or nothing square, because like you say, you can see the hood's here, this fender's high because it doesn't even want to try to line up with that. Yeah, there's a lot of fidgeting around. I mean, whatever, that's normal. I'm just, yeah, as you can tell, I can't get over that. I'm kind of wanting a short bed It's not going to be a big work truck or anything. It's basically just a little commuter. That's kind of the idea. I don't know. Like I say, I got to get that box cleaned off, and but I ran out of torch gas halfway through cleaning up the frame, so I can't go chopping stuff off. I'd like to put it on. I know it's going to be way too tall, which kind of sucks because I don't really want to lose crazy amounts of floor in it. I mean, I could lift the truck up yet, but I'd rather try to keep things a little lower. Mind you, it is a little on the low side. I mean, even if I cut that off, if you look at where that fender is, it's pretty low because we haven't even lowered the truck at all. Like, a guy could lower this thing yet. It's my general rule. Don't make your truck too dang low, because if you haven't altered the suspension, there's no way to raise it. So you're going to kind of hoop yourself in the long run. Yeah, the more I'm looking here, this cab definitely needs to go up. There's a lot of things not working out. You can see, like I say, the hood here. The hood's basically doing this. So I got to bring this down, which then means the front of this fender is going to have to come down. So we may as well raise the cab up, which will bring the fenders like this and should fix this geometry. I cut the front of the rad support out because, like typical S10, the steering box is in the way of everything. So we'll trim it up, but I mean, at least we have a definite guide where this is supposed to meet up with this thing here. So, you know, we're kind of in the zone, but being that the hood's like this tells me the front of the fender is way too high. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here, but nothing's too permanent yet. I guess on that note, this is probably where I'm going to leave it, because I have to run to town and have to get some welding or some torch gas. I don't know if I can do that today or not, so I think that's about as far as I get on there. I don't really want to mess too much with the front till I get the box sorted out, and then we'll see roughly if this chassis is right or not. I mean, I can always shorten and do stuff. I have a bunch I got a bunch of frames stacked, so I might actually just have a short bed one depending on the look. So I'm a little, until I put the box on, I'm not going to commit or do anything drastic. As I can tell already just by looking under the hood of this thing, I'm going to have to move the motor anyway, so if I got to pluck the motor out and just drop it in another chassis, no big deal in my eyes. I have it, it's going to work. It's all right, but that shifter's, well, actually it doesn't seem bad. But the problem what's going to be is if I don't push that motor back, is I'm going to have like problems doing a rad, because it is like right up in there right now. Let's see if I can get this open. Like the fan is like already tucked. I'm gonna have just some crazy work trying to do that. I always like to make it easy for myself, so it's very easy to unhinge, like basically move the motor mounts and slide a motor back. So it seems to be the MO when I do a lot of these things. I think when I did my 38 there, I did that one. I think I moved that motor back a foot. That's just how it worked in there. Anyways, as always, folks, I want to thank you all for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. Later.